Hello guys, this is the Casual Hunters Podcast, bringing you the most laid-back hunting. Introducing myself, the monster hunter from the cold north, Nilam. Cool as ice, Iceman, and that Australian hunter with many personalities, Icicle. And sadly today we couldn't have Shetsby with us because he is away for personal reasons. But we could still get this quest going.
Alrighty.
Right.
So first up we have Gendrome, which should be interesting because
The
we've not done it
massive-
in a very long time.
Yeah. But it's not really like he's
That's right.
hard.
So the first topic on the agenda today is what you think the differences between the different Monster Hunter games are and how you think it's developed over time.
Oh yeah.
So,
Wow.
Wolfie?
Where to begin?
Wolfie can start.
One difference that sticks in my mind is how the hammer has evolved. So,
Oh, right.
at first it was just like a weapon that didn't have like cutting capabilities, right?
And it didn't even have KO damage in the start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then it progressed into a weapon that could do crushing damage.
Yep.
And eventually, in the third generation of games, it can take down stamina.
Yes.
All impact weapons can. But it wasn't really terrible, if I recall correctly, in the first couple of games. But it definitely improved a lot as the series went on.
I think another thing as well is the fact that on third generation they seem to have made it a lot easier to actually combo the attacks of the hammer together, because for me not really playing Unite and not really using the hammer that much, it's like I was trying to do the moves that I know that combo into each other and like literally none of them would.
Holy.
So I had to like completely like relearn how to use the hammer.
Yeah. Well, one weapon that we could say that most of the weapons have been improved a lot during all these games, but the one that I can think of is the sword and shield. Actually, it had been changed quite a few times, like how strong it can be, how good the elemental damage is, and like the smoothness and all that. And in comparison to the first game, it was like really strict, kind of like stiff and boring.
Underpowered.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Unpowered. That's the right word. And then if we compare that to the third generation, it's really powerful. The elemental damage for it is insanely good. Oh bomb. The elemental power is really
Sorry,
good.
I didn't know I was being loud.
Oh, no worry. And we can also do KO damage now with the shield, which is like really handy for people who like to use that.
Yes, I often use it to drain stamina. Most people, when a monster's knocked down, they just use the sword and shield to do as much damage as possible with all the combos. But I often just sit there smacking a monster's face, and I have knocked a monster out with it a couple times. So yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
It's also extremely useful for getting like Kelby horns and stuff and like knocking them out, knocking like the minions and stuff out, which is unfortunately one of those kind of quests that is in I think just about every Monster Hunter game, because you always get like the usual fishing quests and gather 10 of
golden
this.
fish.
Yeah.
Ow.
But yeah, originally the Great Sword as well, from the original Monster Hunter, and especially the first Monster Hunter Freedom, didn't even have a charge attack.
Really?
'Cause I used to use the Great Sword like all the time. It was a lot more powerful. It was a lot slower as well. It was just because it was so easy to use. Just like it had like 3 basic attacks.
Yeah. But that must become like quite boring, maybe. Or what do you think?
It had great headlocking capabilities, in the older games, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I guess boring, you could say that, but it was definitely very strong.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, and also the bowguns.
Oh, most definitely.
Man, they were really, really bad in the beginning of all these games. What I've heard anyway, because I haven't played any game before Unite. But yeah, I have heard that. Oops, we gotta shoot this stuff.
I never really used bowguns
Ooh, I like
in the
them.
original. I've fallen off. But one of my friends, you pretty much played through to about 5-star offline, like only using bowgun.
That's
So
really
he was pretty hardcore.
good. Yeah, you could say that.
But the weird thing about the bowguns I think they've done is from Try, I really like the way that they did it, where like you could make your own gun with like 3 different parts, and depending on like various stats, it would become either a light gun, like a foldable gun, heavy gun, and like all these different things. And then for third, they've gone back to how it was. Like it's either one or the other.
Oh shit. Yeah. I wasn't really a big fan of that. I thought it was a bit too complicated, but yeah, it was a nice idea. But I prefer the way they have done it in third, where you can upgrade the bowguns like any other weapon. You know,
Yeah.
It have its own weapon tree now, which is really nice. And I like that a lot because I'm a big fan of bowguns, light bowguns mostly.
Yeah.
And I found that really awesome the first time I saw it.
Well, the thing about Try's system was that, in my opinion anyway, the bowgun system in the first place was definitely the most complicated of all the weapons.
Yeah.
You know, making attachments and stuff like that. And then in Try, they made it like a lot more complicated. So I think, especially for new people, it was just way too intimidating to be bothered with.
Yeah.
And you know, considering Try was definitely a lot more Westerner friendly, it probably looking at it from a retrospective, it probably wasn't the best way to go about it.
Yeah. Well,
in
yeah.
my opinion, anyway.
Like, if you play Try online, it is quite rare that you see people using bowgun in the start.
Well, it is quite rare to see that as well.
Yeah, well, because Gunlance isn't even within that game, so that's quite rare. But anyway, it's like you said, it is too complicated for beginners, I could say, to use the bowgun, and it's really expensive too, like buying all those ammo shots that you need and upgrading your bowgun and so on in the start to make it good.
Yeah, it seems weird that like every game they like dramatically change like every weapon, like so much. Like you say, sometimes for the better, sometimes perhaps not in some people's opinion, but I mean, like for me, like I say, the bowguns, obviously it's extremely complicated to try and figure them out in Try, but once you figure out the basics, like each part needs a certain weight, and then it'll be either light or heavy, just like things like that. Once you figure that out, it's really not that bad.
No, it's not bad, but it's a bit complicated just for like. But anyway, Try was a big success for the Western people.
Yeah.
So that's good anyway.
What other weapons do we have? The dual swords as well.
Yeah, dual swords. I was thinking Gunlance actually.
Oh wow. Yeah, the dual swords.
Shoot, Wolfie.
But,
what do you think about it?
Well, before we go on about dual swords, there is one thing that we didn't mention about the sword and shield that I would like to.
Yeah.
In the first games, don't think you could actually use items when you're blocking.
You couldn't?
I don't think so.
No, you couldn't. I don't think.
Interesting.
I'm fairly sure you couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is definitely for me one of the best parts about the Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
For me, anyway.
Yeah, well, it is a good good thing that they have put in, but I rarely use that because I'm a quite intense fighter, and I heal like just when I have to, and that will be the time when I gotta take away the weapon to run away first, and then heal myself. So guys, I'm gonna use this Dragonator.
Yeah. Oof.
see if I can do this.
I say I'm just trying to get into an interesting position for people to see, because
Oh, that's.
you know, it's in my view that people see.
Is it now?
Now.
Ooh, I did it! It was such a long time ago.
But yes, dual swords. They weren't in the original Monster Hunter, but they did get introduced in. Was it G?
No, what happened is Monster Hunter came out in Japan. It didn't have dual swords, and I think it didn't have a few of the bosses.
Really?
I think they added like 2 more bosses or something, maybe, but it definitely didn't have the dual swords. And then it got a Western release, which they added dual swords, and I think they rebalanced some things. Because, like Wolfie says, with the great sword, you can like headlock certain monsters and stuff. And there was an issue with Rathalos and Rathian, where you could infinitely headlock them. You could do it with the lance to some extent. But yeah, they released it in the West, added dual swords, and then obviously Monster Hunter became quite popular in Japan, so they released Monster Hunter G, rebalanced it again, added like subspecies like Azure and Cherry, Rathalos, Rathian, things like that. But that was quite a bizarre how that one worked.
Well, I must say it's a really different game from all the other games I have seen. So that's just why I fell in love with it. It's like, it's something new for me. It's like you kill monsters and you gotta kill the monster to get the materials so that you can make one weapon that you maybe could use against another monster. And it's like, if I tell people about this game, they will think that like I'm insane playing this because it sounds quite boring and like repeating. But I don't know, it's just something that it have its own passion, you know?
Yes, well, it's definitely for a certain audience.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, but for the people that do play it, I have to say that pretty much everyone who does play it loves it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It's either you like it or you don't. There's no like in between.
Yes.
And for the people who like it, they love it. So
yeah.
Have we covered all the weapons? No, we haven't.
We still have.
We were just moving on to dual swords a bit more. That I wanted to talk about how they were in Portable Third, which is they added that spirit gauge, kind of like the longsword.
As you can see in Iceman's screen, you see that little bar underneath the sword. That's the spirit gauge that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And it works interestingly. You how do I put this? You bring it up. You fill the gauge up by going into demonization mode, and just hitting the monster. And when you fill it up, you just get buffed. You can actually use some of the demonization mode combos when you're not in demonization mode if you've got a full bar.
Yep.
And you get to do a little, instead of evading, like rolling when you've got your weapon out, you do a little you wouldn't really call it a sidestep, you call it a little dash.
Yeah, it's a really fast dash.
And you can do that now in demonization mode, and in the games before, it didn't even exist. But now you can do it in demon mode, and if you've built up a full spirit bar, as long as your weapons are out, you can do it. and it really helps because it really keeps you being aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's what the main point of the dual swords are. Obviously, you got to be aggressive, be mobile.
That's what That's like who I am as a hunter too. Wow, by the way, this went really fast.
And also, when you switch into that particular mode, it completely changes the way that the weapon attacks. So it's not even the same weapon essentially. It's just like a more intense. Like everything's more quicker. You know, attacks last longer. I assume you would do a little bit more damage. And like you say, you have that extra quick dash that you can like. You know, if a monster's coming at you, you can quickly get underneath. Sort of
and
thing.
it's a really good evasion dodge. If you have like not even the evasion skill, but I think that this is not facts. This is just what I have been thinking of. I think that you get like more invisibility frames with that dodge, because it's so quick, so you can dodge easier. What I have noticed.
Well, the thing is that you probably have the same amount of invincibility frames as a roll, but because you move faster, it's easier to get through an attack.
Oh, that could be right. Yeah, that sounds about right. And is there something more about the dual swords we could bring up?
I think you've just about covered it all. So we'll, on the next quest, we'll, I guess, carry on with the other weapons, because we have missed one or two.
3.
And we might talk about some of the other differences between the games instead of just the weapons as
well.
Yeah,
right. We're gonna do a quest again now, but we was thinking that we could keep on going talking about all the differences on the weapons from time to time. From quest no, from game to game. I can't speak. And the lands. So what you say about the lands? I heard that someone here started using that as a first weapon.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the very first weapon I ever used, and it's pretty sweet. And as the games progressed, I pretty much stopped using it entirely, and now I don't know. I just don't like using it at all. I guess the mobility of it just annoys me. But that's just me. So I don't know if I can really honestly comment too much on the differences, because I don't really use it that much.
Okay. I heard Craig, and I used it most in the games in Unite. I have like over 100 quests with it, so maybe it's like the thing that I liked about the lance was that it has such good blocking ability.
Yeah.
And also a really good evasion ability, just like, and I love those little hops that you can do, and it's really powerful too at certain points. But yeah, I'm not really sure what I can say about it. In Try, they added the counter attack and the shield bash, which were really good. So why did you use it a lot in Try, Nice Man?
I don't know. It just, like you say, it has really good blocking. So I started using it on, I think it was Akantor.
Oh.
Just because at the time I was having quite a lot of problems with him, and as you know, he's like the final boss for me with his laser beam.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the original games, I don't know. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it required a certain dedication to it, because it was basically all you could do was like poke, dodge.
Yeah.
That was it. I used it a little bit on like the first time I fought like Rathalos. It worked quite well, and then I was like, I couldn't figure out any other attacks for it, and I thought, well, if this is it, then maybe this isn't the weapon for me. But it's really, really good in Try, because it has the counter move. So you can do like 3 hits, do a counter move, wait for the enemy to attack, you do the counter, and then you can go straight into another attack.
Yeah.
But I never really got the hang of the counter move. Like, I would get it to work maybe. So I like pretty much never really used to use it. So it's just again, it was like poke, poke, poke.
Yeah. So what is the difference from the lance and the gun lance? When did the gun lance get in the game?
I believe it was introduced in Monster Hunter
Well, it
2.
was the second generation.
Yeah, which was obviously Japan only.
Yes.
And then it was in, I think, Freedom 2 on the PSP. That was the first game it was in, because obviously
in English, of course.
In English, so bizarre.
So I am quite fond of the gun lance. Really, I like it a lot. It's so powerful. You can do these vivid fires and just shooting shells or whatever. It's just a really different weapon from the others, I could say, and I like that. And you have that shield that you can block, and you can do like one jump, like little hop that have really good evasion abilities too.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I really love that. You gotta be good. You have to be skilled with the gun lance. It's like otherwise you will be doing really bad. It's a really bad mobilized weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you gotta be like secure of what you're gonna do and what the monster's gonna do, and you gotta like time everything perfectly to make your damage output the best. Yeah, and they improved it so much from Unite to Third, because like it's not in Try, which I thought was a real bummer.
Yeah, and Try they really sort of reset the series and just let's get rid of everything.
Yeah, because it was bizarre, because like they added like the hunting horn, the bow, the gun lance in Monster Hunter 2, and then Try is technically Monster Hunter 3, and they removed them.
Yeah, it's so weird.
But yeah, maybe we should move on to the hunting horn, since that's what I've been using for this quest. Specifically because, like we discussed before we started recording this part, is it's very hard to talk about a weapon if you're not going to use it.
Yes, especially the hunting horn, I could say.
But
so yeah.
I didn't really use it in this game too much. But I think you said you used it in Unite somewhat.
Yeah, well, I made like a new character because I love Unite, so I have like 3 characters. Yeah.
Ouch.
Oh wow, that hurts.
Wow.
Yeah, never seen that before.
What, you never seen Wolfie die?
Nope. I don't think so. He's too good. He's like Chuck Norris, but from Australia.
I don't think so. I was just being a bit silly, messing around, trying to get a spirit gauge up. No big deal.
Well, the hunting horn from the older games have the same tree and what you can say as the hammer. It was quite similar to the hammer, but yeah, you could play notes. You can buff your players, your teammates.
I've heard that the hunting horn, if you're sitting there, like let's say there was a monster that just did not do anything, you can actually output more damage with the hunting horn than the hammer. It's just because of the hammer, you come in, hit, and get out. Overall, it tends to do more damage.
That's true, but I think that's only for the second generation games, if I recall correctly. Well, what do you say about that? Oh, sorry. I got quite surprised there. But I'm not sure. But I heard like in the second generation anyway, that could be the most powerful weapon in the game, because if you do that side-to-side attack with a hunting horn, the normal just triangle, circle over and over again, you can put in so much damage that you can actually do most damage from all the weapons. But yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
And when I got third, I was like, they haven't had the hunting horn in Try, and they didn't have the gun lance, and they didn't have the dual sword. So that was like the main weapons that I used in the start. So I did use the hunting horn, and I noticed how much different it was. It's so much more useful. It's a really much better solo weapon. You can buff yourself, you can buff your teammates, you can have impact damage, you can have cutting damage with that little poke, and it has such a good range, and you can combo much better with it. So yeah, I got really happy about that. But somehow the dual swords overtook that and the gun lance for me. But yeah, it's a really good weapon overall now, I could say.
One weapon I don't think we've talked about yet is the longsword.
Oh right, and the bow. We have so much to talk about. We're not even. This guy will die soon.
I just want to quickly say for people, for the hunting horn at least, if you haven't noticed, obviously you play different notes depending on the attack that you do. So if you press triangle, it does one note. If you press circle, it does another note. And if you press triangle and circle, it does a third note. And if you go into your particular hunting horn, it will give you a list of the notes and what they do. And then if you upgrade your weapon to, I think it's the final stage when it changes, and you get extra buffs and stuff. So like if you had, say, healing small, you may get healing large as well. And then I think it changes a white note into a purple note, which is like low rank and high rank version. We may die.
I'm gonna die. Run, Neelam. No. Thank you so much.
Not going as planned.
Wow. I normally talk about how easy this monster is, but
I'm not concentrating.
Wow,
the thing is, like, I'm trying to use the hunting horn, so obviously people at home can actually see it when we're talking about it. And the plan was to do Genmoran, Amatsu, and Elatrion, and then like end the podcast.
Everyone's gonna think
Jeez. Yeah, and hold on. Before this guy will die, we gotta talk about the switch axe. Iceman asked me to use the switch axe, and maybe I could be a good person talking about it. Not everyone know, but I didn't like the switch axe at all for a while in try. It was nice, the tail.
Nice.
That's really good job. This is the first time I can see the tail pop up. Good. No, that's not the first time I have done it before.
I think it was the second time we did it. I used dual swords, I think. Maybe not the second, but I used dual swords and cut it off once, I think.
Right. Anyway, switch axe, right. The first time it entered the game series was in Try. Wow, I could say that it got really popular. Plenty of Western people loved it. It's a really cool weapon, and I agree with that. It's a really cool weapon. I didn't like it because it's not a friendly weapon. The upswing made me so angry so many times when I played online, like with people who haven't really played the game any time, and it's like, I guess so, and you pushes everyone down and so on. But then I said, well, I can't judge a weapon that I haven't tried. Yeah, so I'm like that. So I made.
Monster Hunter tried it.
Sorry.
So I made a new character in Try, like always when I want to try something new. I only used the two weapons that I hated: the longsword and the switch axe. I still don't like the longsword. I still think it's a really unfriendly weapon. But if you can use it right, good for you. I don't like it. But a switch axe.
As I use it, right?
Yeah, you do. You haven't pushed. I think you pushed me down like once.
Man, I might die.
Yeah. Maybe we will lose, and I might die too. Run! No. Anyway, and I got a really good experience with the switch axe eventually. I had alloy armor in Try. I gemmed in evasion +1, used a switch axe, and I fought a Rathian. I love the axe mode the most with the switch axe, so yeah. I noticed that the hop you can do after attack is really good for evading. So I got a really good experience there with the switch axe against the Rathian. And from then on I started to use it more, and I noticed that it is a really good weapon, but only if you can use it right. and I love the burst with the sword mode as well. But yeah, as you know, I haven't really used it too much because it's still not my favorite, but I like it more than I did.
I wouldn't say it's really a pro weapon, but it is very, very difficult to use it correctly.
Yeah.
The main problem with it is when you switch into sword mode, it has like a gauge like the dual swords does, which has to build up. And every time you attack when you're in sword mode, it goes down, and you technically have to reload the weapon to get the gauge to come back.
Yeah.
And if you're attacking in sword mode and it runs out...
Oh, you're roboting.
And,
I think I'm gonna die, guys. Quick, laugh out of me.
I'm trying. I'm having lag.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Thank
you. But yeah, if you run out of sword mode, it automatically changes back into axe mode, and you're like extremely vulnerable. So that could be really, really bad.
Yeah, risky. Holy.
Ouch.
Run against him. And then to right. And then we do the blast.
Should be almost dead, I hope.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I missed. Stupid. No! Yeah, so, well, this took much longer than I expected. The talk about all the weapons.
Yeah, we didn't do too well.
No.
Well,
yeah.
We still haven't covered them all either.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to talk about the longsword.
Okay, talk about longsword.
Okay, so that was another weapon introduced in number 2, wasn't it?
Yep.
There was actually great swords in the original games that looked like longswords, but they functioned like great swords. But yeah, longsword, it's an aggressive weapon, no block or anything, but it's a very mobile weapon.
Yes.
So I mean, I've been sort of playing it pretty aggressively because I'm trying to mostly concentrating on talking. But if you play it right and you play it conservatively, you can avoid most attacks because of the maneuverability, and it can output a lot of damage. A big problem, especially in like like the switch axe, people would knock you down.
Yeah.
They couldn't really send you flying, but you'd find, especially like when I used to use sword and shield, it just trying to attack a monster, and then suddenly I'm constantly getting knocked on my stomach or knocked on my back because people are just spirit comboing everywhere.
Yeah.
It was the first weapon to have a spirit gauge. And you'd build that up, get an attack bonus, and then you could unleash a special combo that did a lot of damage.
Yeah, the spirit combo.
But in third, they added a final move to the combo. So if you did
try, actually.
Yeah, in try. Sorry, the third generation is what I meant.
Yeah. Okay.
You did this move where you'd slash through the monster. You'd jump forward and slash, and that would upgrade your spirit gauge, I guess you could say, and you get a bigger attack boost. So you'd start off with an uncolored spirit gauge, and if you built it up maximum and then did the full combo and hit with the last move, that's all that's important. As long as you hit with the last move,
yes,
it goes up to silver, a silver color, and then if you build it up again and use the combo again, you go up to a gold color and then finally a red color. And with each upgrade to the spirit gauge, it drains faster.
Yeah.
But you get a much bigger attack boost, especially when you've gotten it to its maximum capabilities. Yeah. It's just a very strong weapon. One big difference between the second generation and third that I want to mention, I guess it's not really big, but for me it's helped a lot. That's if you're doing an attack and then you follow the attack with the back hop attack, which is triangle and circle at the same time. In the second generation, that will always give you a back hop, but in the third generation, if you do it, you can actually tap a direction as you do it, and as long as it's not forward, you'll sidestep instead of back hopping.
Yeah.
Which just helps.
Yes, it does a lot actually. It's a good maneuver move, and have made the longsword even more mobile than it is.
And also in third, they completely changed the way that the spirit combo works. Because in try you could get it to yellow spirit gauge, and you could essentially keep it there forever. Because you have to attack in a certain amount of time and do the spirit combo, and then it would go up again. So as long as you don't keep spamming it forever, you could have like the second level of attack power all the time.
Yeah.
Now it has a gauge which goes down all the time, so you have to keep attacking, but it's a lot harder to keep the gauge up than it was before.
Where the hell is he?
Up high.
It's like directly above the arena.
Oh! Oh, there he is. Okay. Jump! Sorry, I lost the track of him.
That's quite alright. Okay, I don't think we've covered the bow.
No, not
at all. I think that's the last one, isn't it? That we haven't talked about?
Well, we need to talk
differences
about
between bow guns.
Yeah, light and heavy bow guns as well. So if you want to talk about the bow then, and then finish it off with the bow guns.
Well, I pretty much hogged all the spotlight to talk about the longsword because I love the longsword.
So I guess we'll stop it there then, because we don't want to start at the end of a quest.
Yeah.
But as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff to cover, and obviously it's really hard to keep track of what we've said because there's so many different weapons and so many different changes to each weapon, from like the original games to try to third, and obviously like I say, some games they've gone back on themselves, some games have gone forward.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but it sure is interesting. I think it's a really good topic to like talk about, because everyone has its own favorite weapon and their own opinion, and I think it can be interesting sometimes to like listen what other people have to say about it, and I think we're trying to cover like the most that we can. I'm just trying to figure out something that if we missed something. But yeah, later on we'll talk about it in the next quest. Yeah, so we're back, and I thought that we could maybe speak a little bit about the differences by the light and heavy bowgun, because the medium bowgun is only for try. But we can speak
heavy bowgun.
Can maybe speak with that too. Yeah, the light bowgun have rapid fire of some sort most often. It's a much more immobilized weapon. You can dodge easily with it, and it's a quick weapon overall. And then we have the heavy bowgun, which is more powerful, but you're much more slow with it. But you can have a shield attached to it, which makes it quite good against a few monsters that you know that you won't be able to dodge out of the way. Yeah, it's really good. I started using
lots of damage.
Yes, I started using the bowgun in Unite, but then I used only heavy bowguns because I use them mostly for Shen-Gauren and Yen-Moran, doing like heroics or adrenaline runs because they're so easy. Yeah, and I started like it a lot. Then I made a new character in Unite again to use bowguns, and I use the light bowgun so much because I love that you have rapid fire, mostly when it's like elemental rapid, which is really good. So yeah, but in third you can, with a heavy bowgun, you have something called siege mode, which makes you going into some kind of stage where you like crouches, and you can shoot much more rapidly with normal shots, or elemental shots. Yeah, well.
And you don't you have a bigger ammo capacity? Like you don't have to reload?
Yeah, I think
yes,
it puts
you have
in
20 shots.
20 shots, regardless of how many the bow can hold. Like say if it can hold 3 shots, it just puts in 20.
Yes, which is really good for let's say, crag shots can only have 9 in capacity, but if you have rapid fire crag, no, not rapid fire, but siege mode with crag, you will be able to shoot all those 9 shots within a very short time without reloading, which is really good. Yeah.
One
what else is there to
difference
say?
between the light bowgun and the game, like that, it's in third. There's been a change for the light bowgun, and that's that it back hops.
Ooh, yeah, I just did that. Oops, wrong direction.
Which I think is great. I love that fact.
I love it. I love it so much. It's really, really helpful. You can do 2 little hops that make you much more mobilized, or whatever you say. And it helps just through every hunt. I noticed that fighting Tigrex in this game with a light bowgun is so easy. It's so much easier than in the older games. So yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not
Alright.
talking. I'm just I'm trying to focus the camera on Alatreon, because for the people who've not seen him in third, he is a lot different. He has a lot more
Yes.
moves. So I'm just sort of holding back, as it were.
Spasm.
Oops, sorry about that.
Oh, maybe you would like me to flash him down. I forgot that I'm a gunner.
Yeah.
And well, you are too, but not Icicle. So let's see. Turn around. Oops,
Oof.
didn't work.
Man, but yeah, my experience with the bowgun's been
Holy sh!
somewhat bizarre, because like the first time I used the bowgun was for Fatalis
I need help.
on the original Freedom.
Thank you.
Only because at the time, apparently the best strategy to use was dual swords, and you make a specific setup for him. But unfortunately, you get one-shotted, so it requires a lot of skill
Wow.
to fight. I killed him maybe 5 or 6 times before it just got to the fact of like I just couldn't do it anymore, because the amount of skill required was just insane. So I started to use bowgun. It is quite good, but unfortunately in the earlier games you don't get an extra slot like you do in Tri and Third. So you have to carry all your ammo and combines for ammo, as well as the healing stuff as well. So you're very very limited on what you can have with you. So that's one of the issues in the earlier games, at least. But I didn't really use them that much in Tri either, mainly because the ammo and stuff is really expensive. And also, like I said before, it's quite complicated to try and make a bowgun in Tri, at least anyway.
Yeah.
So the only one I really used was heavy bowgun, which Social Dissonance put a tutorial for Alatreon, of all people.
So of all people.
Yeah.
Is he a people?
He is a people.
He is.
Maybe it's a she.
Yeah, I made the heavy bowgun that Social Dissonance suggested, and learned how to use the bowgun on Tri on Alatreon. Was pretty much the only boss that I ever used a gun on.
Well, I mean,
yeah, but
that's a.
Didn't you say you
was.
used it for Vitalis?
Well, he wasn't
that
really
was-
in Tri.
Oh yeah.
And if he was, I didn't know about it.
What about the bow?
Yes, the last weapon. I think this is the only one we haven't covered. The bow, which was another second generation edition.
Yes.
And as you probably saw at the start of the boss, I put power coatings on this particular bow. Obviously every bow is different. You can have pretty much like any status element, so you can have like paralysis, sleep, but obviously it depends on whether the bow can use that or not.
And then there's the charge levels, which is like one of the biggest parts about the bow.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, using this bow, being the Akantor bow, it only has a level 2 charge, and if you want to do the siege attack, I suppose, it needs at least a level 3 charge. So you need, is it gunnery master?
No, it's capacity up. Load up.
Yeah.
Load up.
Yeah, load up.
So unfortunately, I can't show that. So I'll have to show that another time.
I think the bow has had the least amount of changes made to it since it was made than any other weapon in all of Monster Hunter. Because, as we said, it was introduced in the 2nd generation, and basically between it and 3rd, all that changed was that it got a new coating, fatigue coating, to reduce stamina, and it got arrow rain, which is a move, as Iceman stated before, you need at least to get up to the 3rd charge before you can use, and basically you just shoot upwards, and then instead of 1 arrow coming down, well, it can be 1 arrow depending on your bow, but it generally makes a spread of arrows just fire down on the spot that you're aiming at. Some bows have a grenade arrow rain, which is kind of weird. Makes 1 arrow come down and explodes like a barrel bomb. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the bow.
Yeah.
One thing as well is I think the arrow rain, it does mostly elemental damage as opposed to like physical damage. So if like a monster's weak against, say, ice, you can use the arrow rain a lot, and it should like stun it or knock it down if that's what you're trying to do. But I can't like confirm that or deny it. But that seems to be the general, idea.
The general store.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so this episode's pretty much been completely about weapons.
The weapon cast.
So, yeah. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's
something
good
like
to
that.
get this out of the way. We've explained everything really thoroughly, so everybody knows our opinions and ideas.
Yep.
So we might as well move on to a question, seeing as it's all about weapons. What is everyone's favorite weapon and why? And how do you think it differs between solo and multiplayer? And just what do you think about the weapon in general?
Neelam first, then.
Me first? Wow.
Yes.
I think I gotta be last because I'm quite hard asking that. Okay, so someone else gotta ask that. And no, not ask, but answer. Okay.
Okay, all right. Well,
Someone-
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, the very first weapon I used was the lance. But that was because I couldn't use a greatsword, and at first that was my favorite weapon. I thought that was so cool. You know, I don't know. When I looked at greatswords and saw these giant, massive, awesome swords, I just thought they were epic. But then time moved on, and I'd have to say it's a close match. My second favorite weapon would probably, I don't know, a mix between sword and shield and dual swords. I like them both a lot, but my favorite weapon would have to be the longsword. It's really mobile. It lacks blocking, obviously, but the mobility of it it's so useful. And I love the aesthetics, the appearance of longswords. I think they're really cool. I love the attack animations. And the spirit combo is just adds to that cool factor even more. But it's mostly the mobility, the appearance, and just the use of the attacks. Like, you can quickly do a stab and then a back hop, and you've got that unlimited combo. It's just got so much going for it that I love. You can play it solo. The mobility allows you to get around. It's definitely, I'd have to say that it's probably more of a team-oriented weapon, as long as you aren't silly and you do not knock your team down.
Yeah.
But I like to use it by myself. It's just a matter of being conservative. Hit once or twice, then back hop, move out of the way. Don't just sit there and go ballistic. Often enough you won't be able to use your spirit combo, but that's just a sacrifice you'll have to make if you're going to play solo. And that's my 2 cents.
So what about you, Iceman?
I would have to go, well, in the original games it was the great sword, but like I say, in the original games it didn't have the charge attack, and now it has the charge attack. It's like a completely different weapon. But it seems to be my favorite seems to be the hammer now. But we have sort of a love-hate relationship where I love to use it, but I hate to use it. Because it's one of those weapons that I've tried for so long to try and get good with, but I can never get there with it. So I keep trying and trying and trying and
keep on start to trying.
Yeah, I'll eventually get there, but I don't know. It's good, like you say. It's good. It's solo. It's really, really good. But in a group, it's just you have to be very, very careful if you're going to try and use the. I can't even think.
Charge attack?
Yeah, the charge. I'm trying to like concentrate on Elatrion and think hammers as well.
Going very sorry.
It's being very difficult.
If you do the super pound, it has like area of effect damage. So like if you do it on the monster's head and people around you are near, it'll just knock everybody to the floor, so you need to be very careful with that. If you do certain attacks, it gives an upswing as well, so you need to be careful of your other teammates. But generally, like Wolfie says, as long as you don't act like a sort of like a maniac in a group, it's fine. But yeah, I love it and I hate it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's my turn. Or do you have something more to say?
No.
Oh wow. Where should I start?
The beginning, preferably.
The beginning was that I love hammers. I love the hammers so much in Unite. It was like, yeah, I don't know why. It just how it is. But I'm that person who can stay using one weapon all the time. That would drive me insane and really bored. So I change weapon time to time, but in third I would say that I love the light bowgun and the dual sword most. But in Unite I would say that I love the hammer the most. And yeah, in try that would probably be sword and shield. It's like I'm using so much different all the time, but most in the latest weeks or whatever you could say, I think I've grown much more fond of the light bowgun and the gun lance. But yeah, it's like the one weapon that I have always fallen back on is the light bowgun and the hammer. That's the two things that I maybe main the most these days.
Yeah, sorry for spamming flash bombs. It's just every time I've thrown one, it looks like it's going to hit him, and then he just does like a 90-degree turn and
I know that feeling. While it's on my mind, before I forget, I just want to mention that we all made new characters in Unite somewhat recently, and we're still, I don't know, I'd say around the mid-level of low rank.
Yeah.
We haven't played it too much. And I guess we just want to know if you guys...
Yeah, right. You're gonna ask.
We asked on Facebook and all that, but we haven't really had much feedback. So, just in the comments, if you guys want to see some low-rank Unite hunts, just let us know. It's the Casual Hunters podcast, so I mean, we're not going to be doing anything hardcore like no armor or anything like that. We just want to have fun and play around. So if you guys want to keep seeing this, just say so. But if you'd like to see some Unite hunts, let us know as well.
Yes.
I say that the problem we have is, like, obviously we want to try and do all the games, but if we've started again, you know, we have to play this, we have to play Unite. We're gonna hopefully
but we still could
try, but Neelam has problems with his internet with that, so if we were to do try, it would have to be possibly with somebody else.
Yeah. Maybe a guest. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when
we
it happens.
Don't particularly want to concentrate on try just yet, because obviously, like, with it just being us three, for now at least, not having Neelam obviously means it's two, and then with just 2 people, it's not particularly that interesting, I guess.
No, I don't know. Well, hopefully chats will be back.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, if it comes to it, we could maybe make custom quests for stuff from Try, like we did before, like World Eater and stuff. But that's like literally a last resort.
Yes.
To, like, if you guys you really want to see stuff from Try.
Then we could make the quest on our own, but it's not something that we would prefer to do. But if we really have to, then we'll do it. Right?
Yeah.
And we'll do it while smiling and happily commentate.
So, guys, we will wrap it up here. And we have now been fighting every boss in 3rd. So I think we will just keep on going, doing just normal quest or whatever. And yeah, please answer our question that if you want to see some Unite. Like it will be low rank, but it will maybe still be fun. Like we say, it's a casual. And don't forget to check out our links. That it's in the description underneath the video in YouTube. And don't forget to go into our Facebook page and like the page. So, thanks for watching. And remember, guys, the key to being a boss is to be casual.